trying, I'ma keep on grinding. My your boy gon' be on TV. We came all the way from nothing, turned it into something. No, these niggas cannot beat me. Don't know why they keep on trying, I'ma keep on grinding. My your boy gon' be on TV. We came all the way from nothing, turned it into something. Yeah, we made it something. They like the way I turned nothing into something.
What's up, what's fly, and what's happening? Welcome back, inmates. You're tuned in once again with the podcast that goes behind the bars of local and international artists, as well as discusses the culture in real time. Because as I always say, a life lived, it's a bar. I am your hostess with the mostest. I'm Miss Play Ma, and I'm back in the building one more time, one more again, as Master P would say. And we got a really hot show for y'all tonight because we got a really hot guest. And when I talk about a hot guest, you know, I think all my guests are good. I think they're all hot. I think they're all important. I like them all. But, you know, some guests are just a little more dear to me than others. So this guest that's coming to join the conversation today, he's giving us a look behind the curtain into his own life. We also gonna break down the bars of one of the biggest it's one of the most impactful songs that I've ever heard, and it's by Mr. Bizzle himself. It's called Mr. Range Rover. This young man, he's been on the show before. He did it big the last time he was here, and I have no doubt that he gonna set this podcast on fire today. He is the mind behind the Wednesday night. I seen some of y'all in there. That's that guy. He's behind a lot of the biggest parties, a lot of the biggest names that come through here. He's a promoter. He's an entrepreneur. He works in the healthcare field. I mean, this young man does it all. I want y'all to give a warm behind bars welcome to the one, the only, the golden boy himself, Mr. Brand-New.
Thank you, Miss Playmon. Thank you very much. Hey, the introduction was amazing. I should have had that on record. I need that next time because that was beautiful. I appreciate it, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, sir. B, I know you've been here before, but just like we do every time, shout your people out before we get going so they don't be mad at you.
Hey, shout out to all my folks. Y'all know who you are. Everybody running with me. Everybody supporting me. It's not that many, but y'all know who you is. So let's keep it moving.
Shout out to people who got us back. So, B, this is gonna be a big interview. You know, it's gonna take on the format more of an interview than what our normal shows are. You know, we've done a couple interviews. You know, we did the interview with Pastor Larry. It was more of an interview. So it's gonna take on that type of feel, but I think it's gonna be important. It's going to be informational, and I think it's going to clear the air on some stuff. But this is behind bars, you know. So because it is behind bars, there's got to be a song that kind of ties into the conversation a bit. And so this song is actually by a gospel artist. His name is Bizzle, and the song, he's a gospel artist. And the song is called Mr. Range Rover, and it's basically an outside look. Well, a person on the outside looking at the life of this gentleman that he happened to see going by him in a Range Rover. And then so the spectator sees what seems to be a prosperous man, and he's just thinking within himself what this person's life is like. And I think that will tie into the conversation that we're going to have today. So I'm going to play the first part of it. And then I'm going to go right into, I was going to break it up, but I'm going to play the first part. And then I'm going to play the second one right after it. And then I'll ask a few questions on that. Cool?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's do it.
I wonder what your life is like, isn't everything they say. They may say, Mr. Range Rover, Mr. Range Rover, Mr. Range Rover, Mr. Range Rover. I wonder if your life was right, just in case it ends one day. Mr. Range Rover, Mr. Range Rover, Mr. Range Rover, Mr. Range Rover.
I saw a Range Rover today. The guy inside of it was smiling as he drove it away. And for a moment I wanted to say, if only one day I got what he had, I wonder what folks that know me would say. He looks so happy, I wonder if he's always this way. He ever struggled in life, he ever been broke for a day? Did he grow up in a place where most of the folks that he'd hang with gave him hope, but they hate with hopes they could choke it away? I wonder if he bought a bar and pop bottles of dime and lead a club every night with top models and dimes. Does he make it rain more in the night than what my job pays? Does he get to go where he likes and just fly away? And when he get home, how big is the crib he step in? And when the bills due, I wonder if he stresses or is he living the life, the American dream, or is everything not really as clear as it seems?
Mr. Range Rover, Mr. Range Rover. I wonder if your life is right, just in case it ends one day. Mr. Range Rover, Mr. Range Rover, Mr. Range Rover, Mr. Range Rover.
I saw a Range Rover today, smashed on the side of the road as they towed it away. Thought back to yesterday and I ain't know what to say. Thinking a little different as I pulled over to pray. Wondering if he knew Christ when he left here. Did he have a wife that he left here? Or was he planning on wifing her next year? And if he did, how did he treat her? Is the funeral how she gon' find out he's a cheater? Did he have kids? Did he let them know that he loved them? Did he grab it or take for granted the moment to hug them? Was he real to his friends? Was he only a taker? Did he give and not make them feel like they owed him a favor? Was his money on his mind all the time? Did he die with a pocket full of cash and a mind full of pride? Did he love that Range Rover that he lost his life in? Now that they both gone, does he live what Christ is?
I wonder what your life is like, isn't everything they say?
Woo.
That's
So
good. Nice.
that's
track.
that's a interesting song. Just in general, when you watched that, when you heard it, how did it resonate or connect with you?
With me, I just seen that everything isn't always what it seems. When you see glitter and glamour on the outside, I don't think people take the time to understand or want to know what might be going on in the inside of all that glitter and glamour of what you see and what you might be blinded by. So that's what I seen with this video. The mechanic, all he seen was that Range Rover and old buddy. That's the only thing he seen is nice
Right.
looking guy in his black Range Rover, and he got money and he doing this, but he didn't think about the other side, the other part of who this man might have been.
Right. And I thought too, just thinking back, I could imagine that you could have been growing up Mr. Range Rover, your family, your upbringing, you're Mr. Range Rover, you know what I mean? They see you in the vet, they see you in the, you know what I mean, in the Cadillac. And like you say, that's all they see. All they see is the fancy car, the big house and all like this. But the questions that the rapper is asking is really, he kind of is looking past just the car, because he wondering, is it everything that it seems? And so I thought that was very interesting. Have you felt like Mr. Range Rover and the spectator at some point in your life?
Yeah, but I've always been the spectator, growing up, seeing guys that I looked up to, being young with the box Chevys and the sounds and
Right.
the money they was pulling up. That was my, looking up of, the glitter and glatter, seeing people in my era what they was doing. So yes, I have been on that side, and I have been on the other side of people seeing what my family did have.
Right.
We did have those newer things. We did have those Corvettes and nice houses and, nice things. So I seen that part, but I was the one on the inside as well. So
Right.
it kind of leveled me to see both sides of things.
It does. It does. And that's interesting that you said while others were looking at your family and your everything that y'all had, you was looking at the Negro with the box Chevy. And that
That's what I was looking at. I was looking at that, and then a lot of that, Angie. I wanted to be in some of my friends' position. You know what I'm saying?
right.
With what they were able to do. I was kind of sheltered, housed at home. All my friends was in the streets.
Right. They was
They ain't had no
outside.
they ain't had no curfew. They gone outside. I'm trying to spend the night at their house so I can, you know,
Right.
be with them. But they trying to spend the night at my house because they want to
Right.
be over on this side. You know what I'm
They're gonna
saying?
be
So
over
it was
here
like,
on the four wheelers and
yeah,
all of
like, no, you trying to
this.
come over? No, I'm trying to come over your house. Ain't
We
it
trying to
ain't
get in
work.
the jacuzzi. What you talking about? You want to be in the streets? We want to be in
Right.
the jacuzzi. No, that's real. That's real though. But yeah, I think, at the end, ultimately what I took from that song is that when he crashed that Range Rover and he died, death is the great equalizer. You know what I mean? In death, we all the same. You know what I'm saying? It's the equalizer. It doesn't care what you have, what you drove, how much money you had in the bank. When death comes, it comes and it takes everybody just the same. The caller may be different, but the end result is the same. And I thought that was pretty pointed too in that song. It's a lot in that song. Like when he say what did he say? Is the funeral? Did he have a wife? Is the
Yeah.
funeral? How she gonna find out he a cheater? It's just like Bizzle laid that out, man. Shout out to Bizzle, because sometimes that's how it works.
Hey, you right about that. You right about that.
Somebody show up to the funeral with a kid that look like your kid, and he's like,
Hey, but that man
but
might have been a stand-up guy. All we
right.
know was the Range Rover.
Hey, that's it. That's it. But when I worked at Walmart and I worked at the cash, I was a cashier. I always, when people came through and I'm ringing them up, I'm looking at them like, I wonder what's going on at their house.
Hmm.
I don't know why. I just always think trying to look past what I see and like, I wonder what are they going through? What are they battling? Especially when I seen kids. So maybe
And
that's
I
why the
think,
song's so interesting. Go ahead.
and I was gonna say, I think when people pass, just like my man's, I think then we get to question and get more concerned of the inner part, who he really was. You know what I mean? I think
Right.
regardless of everything else he did, when it come down to him, he died. Now, we focus on his kids and, was he
Yeah.
there as a father and, that type of thing. You just blind everything else and, your concern goes to, you know, the
Yeah.
impact
I
that
mean,
might have. But
because at that
sometimes.
point, yeah, because at that point, it's over. Your legacy is now set. There's no more days for you to build on it. There's no more days for you to do anything else. It's done. And only thing now we looking at what's left behind, because you know more. But we're gonna get into that some more too. But you're very diverse young man, Brandon. You've done a lot. You've ventured out into some different spaces that not everybody is brave enough to venture out into. One being promoting and that sort of thing, parties, concerts, that type of thing. Now I know you've been a topic of a lot of conversations regarding your promotions, your parties, and all that sort of thing. I don't even go out. I don't even go to concerts and parties, and I hear about it. So I know you hear about it. So I'm just gonna come right flat out and ask you the question because people say it all the time. Are you a janky promoter?
No. I don't
And
know what I've done to be janky other than have small venues where everybody can't fit, or my stuff is getting automatically shut down prior to it happening, or it's getting shut down while it's happening.
mhm.
So when you got all these interruptions, yes, it does make me look janky. I would definitely say that. My last event that I was having, um, you're doing all these promotions and you're thinking everything go good, and then something doesn't go as planned. I think the word janky can go in that when you have all these events and they're never going as planned, which mine never go as planned. I've never had a full event that I was fully invested in that has
Mhm.
went 100%, the way I wanted. Maybe like 3, 4 years ago. But since then, no.
So, do you think it's one of those cases where your reputation uh goes before you, and there are things at play where whether it's the venue, whether it's the police, are you saying it's those type of things that
I
cause the
mean, it gotta be
interruptions?
those type of things because I ain't never worked with anyone or no other partners where there was janky in stuff. You know what I mean? I'm putting up my
Right.
own money. I'm supplying everything that I need for my own event. So I haven't even um there isn't even the measure for no jankiness. You know what I mean? If my
But you know
events
what
don't go as planned, people are getting their funds back, their money back. So
So
I don't
that's
know.
what I was about to say, because I always say when they start the janky promoter talk, my question is always this: y'all keep going. So how janky how janky can it be? Every time one come up, I see y'all getting dressed up to go. So I'm confused by the whole fact.
Yeah,
It
because
be
I'm not taking nothing from nobody. You know what I mean? The jankiness is my stuff isn't going all the way. It's
right.
not it's not panning out. You know what I mean? Oh man, we ain't
Gotcha.
even going. It's kind of janky. It's a hit or miss kind of deal. You know
Right.
what I mean? I think
So
that's
I actually had people telling me, you were on the podcast, and when you came on, you said you wanted to give something away. I'm like, bet, you know what I mean? That's for sure. I had people once we did it in the air, people telling me, oh, you shouldn't have did that. Your name gonna be bad. This person probably ain't even coming and all this. And I'm like, well, first of all, I ain't giving it away. So if they don't come, how my name gonna be bad? Like, but second of all, again, the event is approaching, and I see y'all all getting dressed. so, so
and they got their tickets too, didn't they?
they got their tickets. So I'm like, so you can buy the ticket, but you trying to tell me I shouldn't have let them give them away? How much y'all buying the tickets? What are you talking about? If they don't show up, ain't nobody lost nothing because ain't nobody paid for them.
Right,
You
right,
know what I mean?
right.
So here's what has been suggested that you're doing, B. Because I'm keeping it funky with you. I
Keep it
told you
all the way
I'm
funky.
keeping it all the way live. It's been suggested that you're paying these artists simply to do the promo, knowing that they're never going to attend. So you're paying a lesser fee for these famous people to do they come on and can't even pronounce the name of the city. And we know that happens all the time. But they're saying you're doing that knowing that they ain't coming, and then you collecting all of the money for the ticket sales, and people ain't getting their money back when it don't happen. What do you say
Um,
to that?
I ain't never said that I was bringing somebody that ain't never came. That was my issue. Everybody that
Explain
just
that. Explain that. What do you
everybody
mean by
that
not your issue?
every entertainer that I've promoted or that was said was coming to my event
Mm-hmm.
has came, or if they have not come, it was something that I could not control. Either a venue or the last gentleman that I had from Milwaukee, he was locked up in jail.
Dang. He was behind bars
All
for
my
real.
other celebrity people that I've came in contact with have came. I was gonna bring Peasy 3-4 years ago. I dropped 5,000 on him. It was supposed to be 10. I had a problem with the venue. He couldn't come. I brought Rio here. Rio came. I brought Y&J here. He came before everybody was bringing these cats. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The last couple times it's just been an issue. RMC Mike and Crispy Kid, they just came. I had to change the venue, but they came.
Right.
I don't know.
Trina came. The
came.
tickets you gave on my show.
She was there. All these other stuff that haven't, but Trina wasn't mine. You know what I mean? That
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
my show. That was my partner's show. I helped him with the promotion of stuff like that. But,
Gotcha.
everything has, they coming. So
Let me ask you this, though, because this is what I find fascinating. For you to be a janky promoter, and I don't know, if you tell me you ain't a janky promoter, B, I'm inclined to believe you. But I'm inclined to believe you. This is what I don't understand, though. Why are your events so well attended, but people speak so harshly about you?
Well, they're not being well attended because I can't even really have one. I ain't had one that went through in a minute. They're being well attended.
I mean, in the back. I mean, previously.
Oh, you said, say it again.
So I know before when you were giving stuff, I always seen everybody going to it. So is this before they tried to call you a janky promoter?
I mean, they've been calling me a janky promoter since I was having parties in Covert.
B, now you gotta take some ownership now. That's a long time.
I don't know what's janky of. I wish you can bring somebody on here that could actually say that I janked them or did them wrong or anything with my events. Like,
okay, I'll tell
really, you. Even me looking at my parties, I would be upset too. I would be upset at my events. I was so mad at my last event because with my promotions and my marketing, I'm going full force, 100% with what I do. You know what I mean? I can't. There's nobody I can have help me promote my stuff like I'm going to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? In no fashion. But with the events that I've had, they got shut down early, or I can't have the party, or police is called, or when you come into a party and you're only there for an hour and it gets shut down, and I ain't give your money back, oh, I'm janky.
Right.
Okay.
And here's the thing, though.
Okay, because if you go anywhere else, they're not gonna give you. As soon as you
I was about to say.
They're not gonna give you nothing back. So it's my fault.
No.
All y'all, you gotta make it make sense. What a janky.
No, I'm not gonna let that be the reason, because to me that feels like how we do small Black businesses, where you go there and something ain't right with your food. I ain't never going there again.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, but McDonald's give you bad food all the time and you keep going back. So I wouldn't say that is a good example of what makes you janky. But now there is some talk, because you do showcases too with local artists. There are some local artists that felt or people felt like you're taking advantage of the local artists. What do you say about that?
Taking advantage of, to do what?
I'm asking you. I'm just telling you what the.
Half the time, I don't even want a local artist on a show that I'm having because it's too much confusion. So
right.
I don't know what more of these local rappers and whoever can do for me, because it really ain't much.
Right. And I hear a lot of people saying that they should be getting a cut. And I tell them, I'm telling them straight off rip, you don't until you are the draw, you don't get a cut.
I mean, as far as
Nobody's
like the
paying
local
you. Go ahead.
with like the showcases that I was doing, um, helping one of my partners out from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
There was like the showcase. There was something you were gonna win something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there was something being brought to the table. The only other time I'm only dealing with like local rappers if I'm having an event. But you gotta understand, Angie, I'm not reaching half the time. I'm not reaching out to these folks to come open up at my stuff. I'm really not reaching out to halfway nobody for real. You know what I
Right.
mean? I may say something, but
I
they're
know.
hitting me up when the opportunities come, wanting to. You know what I mean? So if I'm gonna pay who I want to pay. Yes, I
Right.
have paid local artists. It's yes, I have. There's plenty of them who I come out of pocket and pay because I know they're gonna help me out. I know they're gonna bring whatever. I know I
Right.
appreciate their worth. You know what I'm saying? So I do that. But I mean, as far as using a local rapper, they can't. It ain't shoot. They ain't doing nothing for me.
So yeah, and I'm kind of right there with if you're a local artist, if you get paid anything, then you just won that day. Because at the end of the day, you out here trying to make a name for yourself, unless you're like I say, unless you drawing out a bunch of people and we know that they only coming because you on there, then I'm not necessarily, I don't believe that these artists, even the ones that's really starting to pop, I just don't think they've reached the status yet to where they should be demanding pay anyway.
No, but they're all demanding pay. You know what I mean? Things I did for free without
You said
with
they all demanding
I mean,
pay.
a lot of them are not demanding, but they're looking for it. I can
Mm.
say some are looking to be, you know, paid or, something in some sort of way.
I'm gonna just keep it funky. If you can't even sell out a high school gym, how are you demanding pay? Nah, I ain't with them on that. I'm like, now I'm with them when they right, but I'm not with them on that.
I'd be
Ain't nothing
confused.
wrong with asking, I guess. Ain't nothing wrong with asking. So they can't do nothing but say no. But I think too, B, and this I know I got a little more intimate knowledge on. I think there are those that felt like when it came to the situation with Big Tev, they felt like you didn't handle that correctly. I don't know what correctly would have been to them, but that situation seemed to have turned a lot of people off. Why do you think that is?
Hey, I think in a lot of cases, just dealing with everybody, um, you always got to have somebody to blame.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think with things that I've been through, altercations that I've been through, anything, you know what I mean? I think that I've been the one that can, people can easily put the blame on somebody. How they feel I should have handled the situation differently, I don't know because I don't know how everybody feels. Nobody who might feel a certain way has said anything to Brandon. You
Well,
know what
let
I
me
mean?
ask you this:
It's what? Go ahead.
Do you think there was proper security measures? And because I'm gonna tell you, the whole and this is where things always get dicey. You know, in an event like that, me personally, I don't think he should have been there. Period. Under no circumstance. I don't care how long the beef has settled. I don't think that was a place where he should have been performing. That being said, knowing the history of everything, do you think there was proper security measures?
I do. I do. For one, just for one, I do. Because the incident didn't occur where I had the security lines at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which was surrounding the Civic Center. The Tevin incident happened outside in the street. For two, do I think for me to have an event down in Covert? I've been having events in Covert since I was 16, 17. I'm probably one of the neutral people that can go to Covert and go to South Haven and not have no issue. Me having a party in Covert, I'm not worried. I wasn't worried about any of that. You know what I mean? In that sense, I did have an extra security because I wanted to protect my people, my friends, my folks who might have been there. You know what I mean? But for the most part, second guessing going to the Civic Center or anywhere in Covert to have a party, I didn't second guess that because for one, I'm not too much in tune with no South Haven Covert beef up until this point. You know what I mean? Yeah, I hear what's going on, but I'm not directly in what everybody else might be into. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute now, Brandon. Now somebody might think you being a little disingenuous with that. Like it was clear. I ain't in the street either.
As far as Angie, to I see what's going on. I know we beefing with this buddy and this buddy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But how long has beefing been going on?
A long time.
A very, very long time. I done beef with Covert people, and you know what I mean? It's an ongoing beef where it ain't stopped me from going to the city. And in most cases, it ain't stopped a lot of Covert people from coming here, starting whatever. So
I think too, it's like you said it though. Go ahead.
I said what? The tone of it?
No. I was gonna say I think ultimately what you said about you being a neutral person, that works against you in situation. Whenever there's controversy, being a neutral person works against you because the people from Covert will say, "Oh, that nigga, he be with them South Haven people." The people from South Haven, "Oh, he really a Covert nigga." So I think that work against you too.
And I don't care about.
No,
I don't care about what you talking about over here, or you know what I mean, the vice versa of that, because y'all.
I'm just saying I think that's where a lot of the, iffy feelings come along too. And then people, well, let me just ask you this because I don't want to make the assumption. Did you reach out to his mom after it happened?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we had a conversation.
Got you. Yeah, so there were just kind of some I think it's basically one of those instances where emotions are running high, obviously, in a situation like that. And again, I know for a fact that you being a neutral person, it creates, sometimes you don't have really nobody that's gonna speak on your behalf. So you really left to speak for yourself because everybody looking at you like you from the other side.
Here's the thing. I've been having, that is not my first event in Covert that I've had where it's full of South Haven people. Let's just be honest.
For sure.
It's my if I have some down there, it's always South Haven people there. We always beefing with somebody from Covert.
Right.
Always. So that event was not nothing new. You know what I mean? Yes, I did go and ask Tevin, did he want to perform? I did. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like it was a danger because Tev moved like I move. We really ain't too much worried about things. So I didn't look at it as something like that. You know what I mean?
Not even in hindsight. In hindsight, do you think maybe that's not a place for him? Not for you, not a place that he should have been performing?
No, because I think that, I mean, I couldn't say that because I think the beef that he's been in is just the same beef that I or any of my partners been into it with somebody from Covert.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just a regular beef. I'm not looking over the beef, but I think when they say South Haven and Covert beef, it's just like You know what I
What's
mean?
new?
Right,
Right.
right. Something like that. So I didn't look at it as a danger for us to go to covert. You know what I'm saying? I didn't look at it like that at
Right.
all.
I can understand that. So
And while we on air, I don't if people feel some way, whoever Tevin came with, I don't think that they should have let him walk outside to wherever he was going by himself anyway, if there's a danger with anything that's going on. Or if they feel like that, someone should be looking out to know what's going on, where your folks is at and where your people at. And I feel bad that I didn't know, or I didn't observe him going out there, walking by himself, where I could have had someone assisted him, or walk with him to wherever he
well,
was going to
well,
do.
I'll tell you another point of contention is who your security was. Um, one of the security, one of the people that did security was believed to know who done it and refused to give up that information, and actually was believed to be harboring and hiding the identity of a person that did it. And this is security. And
Well,
not only
the
are they
security that I had, the
security,
security that my main security was a security that uh is family to people from South Haven, that I think people feel
well, who
comfortable
was your
about.
security then?
Big B
Because
was
I
my security,
and who else?
and Big B, like three other people, but he had Too Short with him.
Right,
Too Short was not no security of mine. So, if he was somebody of Big B's or whoever he brought,
right.
that's might have what it was. But he didn't come in as no security.
I got you.
He didn't
And
come
see,
in as
that's
no
something
security.
that need to
No.
be cleared up too.
No,
You know what I
no. Too
mean?
Short didn't come in as no security. I didn't reach out to Too Short and say, "Hey, can you do security?" And I probably would ever in my life, because that ain't the conversation me and Too Short have when
Right.
we have conversations. We
I
ain't talking
got you.
about no security or you know no other weird stuff like that.
Let me
But Big
ask you
B was
this.
my security, and I felt comfortable with Big B being my security because he from down the way.
Right.
So, me reaching out to him, I know he know everybody where we from. So I looked at him as he gonna look out for us, making sure, we're safe a
Right.
little bit more than just getting random security.
So do you think has this has this changed the way you look? Because my personally, just listening to you and the people that was there, everybody was just a little too comfortable. And I'm not even in the streets like that no more. And I couldn't understand how, when I heard it, I said that's not a good idea. But nobody else seemed to, that didn't cross nobody else's mind that that's just weird to me, but I get it, because when I guess if you living fast, sometimes you're thinking slow. But
But but
but
but but but but but why am I? How is Brandon the full main blame and focus of this man's death? Because I threw a party. I got that much. Do I have that much
you're
power
not to me.
to?
You're not to me. The person that pulled the trigger is the main and full
But I
blame for
think there's
that.
a lot. Well, I don't even think I know there's a lot of folks from South Haven that feel this way. Whether they ain't gonna say it or
Right.
not, because other people have told me how to, you know what I mean? It's a small
Right.
prayer. You know what I mean? And if you feel like this, I'm just telling y'all straight out. If you feel like this, we can have a conversation about it. You don't have to, laugh and, smile and
Right.
like my stuff and woo 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 and woo 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 if you feel some type of way. I feel some type of way about Tev too. You know what I'm saying? That was my partner. I feel that. But all these undercover, you know, feelings that y'all might have in regards to this, and now I'm going up to someone thinking everything cool, but y'all really, you know what I mean? I don't like
Right.
that. You know what I mean? So Hey,
So let me ask you
oh
this,
no.
because I think it's more of the after effects of what happened that kind of made people feel a certain way, because there was talk that you may have known something. And this is where I get a little iffy, because I know I don't get as upset when
I didn't know. I didn't talk to the police.
right,
I
right.
did not talk to the police. They was trying to call me and
But
give me no, I didn't. I didn't go to court.
right. But I think what the streets was saying was, okay, maybe they understand you're not talking to the police, but as you're talking to the guys, could you tell the guys what happened? And you got to let them know. Did you even know what happened? You know what I
Angie,
mean? What could
Angie,
you tell them?
Angie. Tell the guys what? What you mean?
Like, if you knew something, if you knew who was responsible, if
I knew just as much as what everybody else. I wasn't there.
right,
I seen the incident from a distance, but I don't know who he was talking to. And half
right,
of these niggas from Covert, I don't even know. If they slid past me, I would know who is who.
right.
I seen the incident, and I myself was running after the dude who I seen pull shots at Tevin. I did. I seen all that. But in the midst of me trying to see who it was a lot of traffic, a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
I didn't see who it was. Only way I knew of anybody of anything is people saying, hey, it was this person, it was this person, it was that person. I
Right.
didn't see with my own eyes who did it. So if I can't, if I don't
And
know, I can't tell you nothing I don't
right.
know. You know.
Right. So just to kind of put a cap on that, you don't feel like there was anything that you could have done differently. And since then, do
I
you
mean,
look at
I'm not
security
gonna say I'm
differently?
not gonna say that because then it make it seem like I don't have any empathy or anything in regards to what happened. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I probably could have had a little bit more security. I mean I don't know, Angie. No,
Right.
because it
I
wasn't
know
it, it wasn't
that's
not,
an
it
honest
wasn't
answer.
nothing it wasn't nothing new to me. You know what I mean? It wasn't my first time, second time. Corbin and South Haven been beefing for 30 years, and within that 30 years, I done threw
Longer. I'm
so
43. They've
many
been
parties
beefing longer than that.
within there. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so I don't know. I don't feel like I could have done something done because I done been beefing with these Cobra cats and still went down there and threw a party
Right. Right.
because I don't care,
So
But
since then, hasn't changed your approach at all to
yeah, it did because I didn't throw a party for a very, 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 very long time. I was about done with events. For a
yeah,
very long time, I didn't do anything dealing with no party because uh because of the backlash, because of you know Tev dying, just everything. I didn't want to do
yeah,
none of that shit. I'm through with parties. I'm straight. Y'all can have it. You know what I mean? I do parties because this is what I like to do, not because it feeds me or none of that. You know what I mean? So I was
right,
really done, and just really this past year I got back into doing stuff because of the passion.
right, and
This is what I like to
ultimately
do. You
too,
know what I'm saying? So
right. Oh, we lost B. Hopefully, we can get him back here. There you go. Um, all right, we got him back. So I think ultimately, though, B, what is lost in this, which I'm uncomfortable about, is that we act as if, and I don't mean me, I'm just saying people in general, like you didn't lose a homie too. Maybe it ain't your homie like it was this person homies, but it's
yeah,
like at the end of the day, we know that you love Tev, and we know that that's not at all ever an ending that you would have wanted, or if you could have predicted, you wouldn't have done something to keep from happening. I think a lot of times, though, like you say, conversations just need to be had, and so that you can clear the air on stuff like that, because it's an emotional thing, you know. And if you don't ever have the conversation and understand what somebody's issue is, like you say, nobody's ever said anything to you, and that's kind of why I wanted to have this conversation, so maybe it'll open up the way for somebody to reach out and be like, well, this is what my issue was, and y'all can talk, and that can be.
And I think
Yeah,
that's what it's about, especially with us being from the same place. Is y'all can have a conversation with me. Everybody from there know me and know I'm open to. I'm just open. You know what I mean? I ain't.
right,
So it could have been simple. And I like to have conversations. That don't mean that I think I've grown to where two adults can have a conversation to figure out what the issue is. Whether you agree or disagree with each other, you had the conversation and y'all can keep it moving.
right.
You
But
know.
I think too, I think for the people that matter, I think the conversation would actually be healing. I don't think it would result with, this one we go this way. I think if a real conversation was had and people came to the conversation not looking to be right, but looking to understand, I think that, it could work out. But
And,
that's
and,
just me.
and let me say this one last thing. It really, the backlash really hurt my feelings because I was the first one to respond to Tevin. You know what I'm saying? When all the shootings was done and I kind of finally seen what was going on, Ted called my name. Me and Nate was about the first ones over to him, holding
Hmm.
this man up, trying to stop all the blood and stuff like that, whatever. But just for people to make it seem like it was my fault when I was really there and I pictured stuff to this day. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was it's real effed up. You know what I'm saying? How things can turn like that. But
Yeah.
hey, I
And
love
I
Tevin
think
just
that
as
night
much as
haunt.
everybody else did.
Yeah, and I think that night haunts a lot of you all to this day. And it's just unfortunate that, the situation has caused it to where you can't even be there for one another when y'all suffering the same. You know what I mean? You're suffering with the same images. You're suffering with the same type of trauma, and that is unfortunate. But hopefully, like I said, this will open up the gates. But we're gonna move into the next part of this conversation. But before we do want to take a quick commercial break. Okay, folks, we are living in uncertain times, and with that, we need to be ready for the unpredictable and the unthinkable. Whether it's an accident, unplanned dental needs, untimely death, or simply planning for the future, you need assurance, and so you need insurance. That's right, Joe Goodwin, an independent broker with RLS, is licensed in multiple states and can help you secure life insurance, annuity, health, dental, and vision insurance. With his focus on taking complex insurance concepts and turning them into simple solutions, he is ready to help safeguard what matters most to you. Connect with him at 817-822-5813 or at jgoodwin at rlsforlife.com. That's Joe Goodwin, offering real life solutions. So, moving a little further into this conversation, because I don't want to stay bogged down in that too long, but I look at you, and I've known you for a while. We go way back, like what Tony Mack said, we go back like rocking chairs. um and so when we think about even just going back to some of the stuff we talked about when we talk about trauma and things that happen that are traumatizing and things that you have to deal with every day. You had some things that happened in your life, obviously, that we'll kind of talk about a little later. But when we talk about your childhood, This is a question I always like to ask people, and I've never asked anybody on the podcast, so you're going to be the first person. If your childhood was a movie, what type of movie would it be? What genre? Comedy, drama, horror, fantasy? What would the genre be?
My genre. Uh, I would say my genre will be fantasy.
Fantasy.
Fantasy because I think some of the things I've seen, I've been through, people on the outside don't know, probably wouldn't believe. I myself, I wouldn't believe. Um, I think in the fantasies, you can put the comedy in there, you can put the horror stories in there, you can put pretty much anything in this fantasy imagination of what happened in my life. It was so much going on, so much comedy, so much horror, so much you know seriousness, so much of this and so much that that I think it just seemed like a fantasy. You know,
Wow.
even to this day, it just seems like a dream. There you go.
Right.
That's what it
Well,
is.
you know what they say? They say truth is stranger than fiction. And the reason they say that is because when it's fiction, it's fiction. You can get like, oh, that's a wild
Real life
imagination that came
fiction.
up with that. But yeah, it's a real life fiction. So, what was life like growing up in the Anderson household?
um, we were very disciplined. Um, everything had to be together, cleanly. Um, we were never lazy. We couldn't be lazy. Everybody had to work. We grew up working. Even from elementary, us having our foster care as kids, we had to work there. Um,
Hmm.
we had to work for whatever we might have wanted. My mom's husband, that's what, he was all about, us working for uh, what we wanted, working hard for where we wanted to be. It might have seemed like things were given to us, but nothing was
That's
nothing was given to us at all. You know what I mean? Nothing was given to me personally, at all. In the Anderson family, my mom had to like I was the stepson
right.
in the family, so I had a different father.
Did you feel that growing up? Did you feel like the stepson?
Um, I did. I did. Because sometimes I didn't, but as I got older, I did see the stepson, stuff because I wasn't getting as much as his other son. High school and stuff. I didn't get the car to, you know, in high school to get the car. I was driving my uncle van or getting rides to school. You know what I mean? I
Right.
didn't get my first car. I had to buy my own first car. Um, I just wasn't given a lot than, like my other siblings were. I don't think too much.
So in that though,
But I was because my mom, she made sure I had when I probably couldn't. Did that make sense?
explain that.
So my mom made sure I was good in a sneakily way. You know, um,
Hmm.
she had to slide my stuff to the side. You know what I mean? If I needed some stuff, here you go. Keep it
Right.
between me and you because whatever reasons I didn't understand before then.
You said so, but tell me this, B, because this goes back to like the whole Range Rover thing. When you say everything ain't what it seems, that's kind of a strong statement to say everything ain't what it seems. So were there secrets in your household? Like when you say everything ain't what it
Oh yeah,
seems,
it
what
was
does that
secret. It
mean?
was I guess I wouldn't say secrets because everybody known, but within my household, It wasn't a secret that, my mom's husband had other kids on her.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in high school, probably ninth grade, I was going to Culver School. I remember this clearly. I was left Culver School. My sister had a track meet in South Haven. Her dad refereed track. I seen my mom. I seen this little white boy, probably about 4 years old, running up to me like, "You're my brother." I'm like, "Who the hell are you?" This
You
is
said
this
a
is
little
Jewel.
white boy.
This
I
is
was going to
Jewel.
say I knew you was talking
This
about
is
Jewel.
Jewel.
Jewel ain't no white boy.
But that's what I thought in the
That's
beginning.
what it
But
looked like. Yeah.
it was a lot of different things that was happening and occurring within our household that you probably wouldn't, think. He had multiple kids on my mom. You would think we had it all. He had a
Right.
nice house, nice family, good business, nice cars. You're taking trips, but like in every household, you know, there's always problems
So
or whatever might.
how did that affect you being her son and being a young man? How did seeing that type of stuff, how did it affect you? Did it affect you, like, did people talk about it, or was it an internal thing? Like, how did
Um,
that really
you
impact you?
know, it played a big part growing up because all of my friends knew what was going on,
Mm,
and they was telling me and jokingly, with me
right,
about what he was doing. Messing with these younger girls, having babies by underage women. You know what I mean? I
right,
I I heard I was teased growing up. You know what I mean? Yo, stepdad. So
right,
me not knowing exactly what was going on, the streets knew. So,
right,
I'm sure my friends' parents was talking about everything that was going in our household to where they knew, you know,
right.
whatever was happening.
And then too, I always say to people often, because I remember when you was on before and you were like, you saying like, people know and they sweep it under the rug. They sweep stuff under the rug. And I thought about that and I thought, yeah, there were some situations that really didn't get the type of attention that you would think it would get, though. You know what I mean? Like you
Mhm.
say, people knew that. It may not have, it may have been something that you didn't talk about in your
And
house.
maybe that's the difference between back then and now. Because if it was now, it would have been openly talked about with what men are doing. I think now it's very, very verbal, getting these types of people. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
It's
I
verbal
definitely think
now.
we're in a different climate. And two, I say
Yeah.
this all the time, B. Back then, people couldn't talk too loudly about them because I was a 15-year-old girl, and I know some of the grown niggas that used to try to holler at me. So that's another reason why they could talk about it a little bit, but you don't want to blow it up too bad
Because they might be
because
doing,
you don't
yeah.
know who gonna out your butt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he got a case, but you just don't got a case.
Right.
so so like, I think that's part of it too. But so I so we know, how that situation ultimately unfolded. And I remember you being gone. You being I believe you was locked up, right?
Yeah, I was in jail when my mom died.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember this. I seen you one day. We was hanging out and you had on a shirt with your mom's picture on it. And I looked at the picture and I just shook my head and you was like, oh man, don't do that. And you said something. I don't know if you remember you saying this. And I felt it. I feel it to this day. You said, I knew I should have killed that nigga when I had a chance. Do you remember that?
Yeah, because I still feel that way. I still play that in my mind. I still feel that way. Yeah.
So what was it like being locked away? And I know one thing, my cousin is in prison right now. We've lost a lot of people while she's been in prison. She said something. She said, grieving, this is no place to grieve because nobody cares. Is that how you felt?
Uh, I did feel like that, but uh, I had people in there in jail with me that cared.
Mm.
Um, Terry Shaver, he was there with me.
Big
Um,
Terry or little Terry?
Big Terry, Big
Oh,
Terry,
okay.
and he helped me. He was there for me like no other. Gilbert Rayner, it was a couple folks that was, but they took care of me. You know what I mean? Where I didn't,
Right.
where they was my family inside, where I couldn't reach my family outside. So
That,
I felt alone, but for the most part, I didn't. I think my whole thing was it wasn't about me at that point. I was worried about my brother and sister. So
right.
I
Big
didn't care
brother.
about they was more alone than I was. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, that
So
didn't.
did you know, did you immediately know that it was murder suicide, or did you initially think like we did? Not, I was on the outside and I was in Kalamazoo at the time, and we thought the first news that we got was that some person had done this. Did you immediately know what happened, or did you get that same kind of conflicted
No, I
story?
didn't know because I knew something was different because they called my name at like 3 in the morning. You know what I mean, Burnett. But let me tell you, when I was in jail, my bond was 750,000,
Wait a
and
minute, I can't even remember what you was in jail for. Now, how your bail that high?
because we went in old buddy house and robbed him for the money.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Then we
yeah.
got snitched on and woo woo woo. My
Right,
bail was
right,
$750,000. My mom them said, "Hey, we ain't got that much, but if they lower it to 500,000, we gonna get you out."
right,
They I went to court probably like that week before, and Judge Buell lowered my bond. So when they called me, I'm thinking I'm finna go home at 2, 3 in the morning. Oh, my mom them got the bond because 500. Oh, they lowered it. They finna get me home, and I knew they was finna get me home. I felt that when they told me they finna lower it. So when they lowered it and they was calling my name, I'm really thinking, oh, calling me name for it. I'm finna go home, but they never said pack it up or nothing like that. So,
right,
so they called me down to the thing, and the police or nothing never said nothing to me. So I'm sitting in the visitation room. I'm just sitting there waiting. Like 20 minutes go by, and the church where my grandmother go to, it was the pastor that had came up. I knew who he was from a child. I
right.
hadn't seen him in like probably like 15 so years, but I knew exactly what he was, who he was. Um, and he was the one that told me what happened. Um, yeah.
So to now, generally you can get out for a parent's funeral. What happened with that? What's the
Um,
reason that you weren't able to do that? Is it because of the charge?
well, no, they just felt I was a flight risk. With
Mm,
everything that was going on, with the incident and bringing me out of jail, they felt like my family or whatever, you know what I mean? Something,
right.
it was just too much going on. But they told me I was able to get out and be there with my family, you know what I mean?
I think I lost Brandon's audio. Just one second. All right, we got his audio back. So
Sorry about that.
um What was that? Do you feel like now that you didn't get the opportunity to get like closure? How was it not being able to be there for that like final moment?
Uh, it was hard not being there with my family. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? That's who I needed the most with me at that time at the funeral home. You know what I mean? Not two police, just there escorting me. I'm still shackled up. I didn't. I needed someone. I needed to hug somebody. I needed someone to hug me, hold me. I needed somebody to tell me it was okay. Uh,
Right,
I didn't have none of that. I
man.
just being at a funeral, just you and her. It was very extremely hard.
In
Um,
shackles. You said so. So they took you in shackles to the funeral home before the funeral.
before the funeral, yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
It was said. They said, they had told my grandma and them that they were gonna allow me to go to the funeral. You know what I mean? Because they was getting me clothes together, blase, blase. To be there at that time. But they switched everything up, and brought me beforehand. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
Do you do you blame anyone other than the murderer for what happened to your mom?
I blame myself. I do. I blame myself. Because the thoughts that I had in my head, previously of, like you just said, hurting him and killing him prior to it getting to my mom, those thoughts always crossed my head, when things were getting serious, when I was seeing, bruises on my mom or, things like that, or know that she was in the process of getting away, because that's what she was. She was in the process of getting out of all of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Being done with everything. They was already in separate households. You know what I mean? So I do, because I felt that. I said it to my mom how I felt, and her, when I said that to her, she said, "Brandon, just don't do nothing because I need you. I'm just trying to get our little money right, and myself
Right.
here together, boom, 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 and then everything will be all right. I don't want you to be in trouble. You're the oldest. I need you. You know what I mean? That's how she was giving
Right.
it to me, because but my mom knew how I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How I was about her. In general, I ain't care about nothing that he talking about or none of that. When it came to her, this is
Right.
how
That's
I'm
my
going to war.
dukes.
I'm going to war for mine. Um,
Right.
so I do feel you know partly responsible, because nothing out of the ordinary was happening when I was home. I I I felt, even me not being in South Haven all the time, I felt like I was somewhat of a protector, because I can get there. You know,
Yeah.
I was able to get there, and I put myself in this dumbass situation where I couldn't be there for her. You know, you did
Right.
this like I felt like that was my karma. You did this dumbass shit in July. Here you go in December. You know, I,
Yeah, but and that's why, that's the male in you, the man, the like you say, the protector, but you do know, Brandon, that that is absolutely not the truth. You know what I mean? It's absolutely not the truth. The only person responsible is that is the person that was responsible for it. I'm here and I just want to offer that to you because those are the type of things when you're talking about you trying to find yourself and settle into and resolve some of the things that you have going on inside. You got to get clear on that is absolutely not your fault, and there was escalations that were happening. I know you weren't out, but my people was wrapped up in it too, and so I seen how things were beginning to escalate, and I really um I don't think that you being out, or you know, it may have just ended up you getting killed or both of y'all getting, you know what I mean? You can't think like that, you know what I'm saying? Even growing up, you know, when you, like you said, when you were young, and I'm sure there were times where things were going on that you felt like you, as the man, even though you're a boy, as the man, you want to do something about it. And it's just like you can't carry all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, what is one of the greatest lessons your childhood or that situation, all of that? What was one of the greatest lessons that you took from that? And do you pass that lesson on to your kids?
Uh, the lesson that I learned in all of that, I mean, not really a lesson, but I just been through so much, especially with that last situation, that I don't let nothing get to me. You know,
Mm,
nothing can get to me. I'm not mad. It takes me a very, very long time to get in that space. You know, to be extremely upset. But at the same time, I I'm waiting to be upset because I have a lot of anger, you know, ready to be, you know, given out. But for the most part, it's just not to stop. You know what I mean?
right.
I think that situation could have ended me physically, emotionally, in my
Mm,
head, where I could have been dead in my mind, still moving around. But I didn't let that stop me because I got people looking up to me. I got kids. I take responsible for a lot of people. I was trying to take, you know, care of my brother and sister down there. So I think, you know, with that and me being the oldest, I couldn't show any emotion. I couldn't let, you know, those you know, things in the road get in my way. You know what I mean?
uh-huh.
I'm more so focused. I'm gonna get what I want, and ain't nobody gonna tell me different. Is like the attitude that I have now, and I do share that with my kids. You know what I mean? What's important right now is family.
Right.
Taking care of what you got. You know what I mean? And I looked past that growing up before, you know, even as younger.
Mm,
I didn't, you know, we wasn't much, you know, everything is about family. You want to be around, but not. But I think more so now, and what I'm realizing is just take care of your family. And that's what I install in my boys, you know.
right.
Son is 19, you know, and my youngest is 4. And my job for them is just to know each other, be installed, and, you know, be engraved. It's just all about family. I look at the Gifts family, and like they're one family, the Clarks, that I like looking at because they're all about family with everything they
They
do.
move like a unit.
They move like a whole unit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a family. And you don't see that a lot, you know what I mean? Too
Right.
often. And so that's, you know, what I want to instill with mine, because I got 8 kids, you know, and I want them to be
I thought you had
unit
12.
together. No, I got 8, ma'am. Don't give me no more. I got 8.
So you said something though, because I think a lot of how they move reminds me of my mom and her siblings. Because I think it's 10 of them, right? It's 10 of the
Uh-huh.
gifts.
Yeah.
And so it was 9 of my mom and them. And that's kind of how, like, growing up, just very close when you got 9 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big link, you know, and then the chains off of their individuals. So it was like, but how did that situation affect your relationship with your brothers and sisters and then his kids?
Um, well, starting with his son, Big Bug, we we were keeping in touch when I went to prison. Um, when I got out of prison, I think he was living in North Carolina. He did come and see me and, you know, spend some time with me, and we had a good relationship. We did when I came home. I didn't I didn't look at him to blame. Remember we talked about that earlier. You find somebody to blame stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, woo. I didn't put the blame on him because I was his son. You know what I mean?
Right.
Our relationship was different. I look at that in all relationships that I deal with. I'm gonna judge a person or determine a relationship on how I go about you, not from what somebody else said or somebody else did. But me and Big Bug, we did have a good relationship. And maybe he's wondering as well because we haven't talked in a very long time. But I just got tired of I felt like I was doing more of the reaching out, doing more of the checking. Hey bro, how you
Right.
doing? This and that. And when I stopped doing that, it wasn't no check. So
Hey, story of my life.
it wasn't no check. So if it ain't no check, regardless of I just moved off of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And left it at that, and I ain't looked back. And I mean, yeah, I think about my brother. I miss him, but I don't like all that extra stuff. I ain't too much worried about.
Right.
Other important things to worry about than mending whatever. I guess
Right.
whatever.
Well,
With my what?
go ahead.
But Ashley and Jeremy, um, and even with Big Bug, our relationship is not all together because Angie, to tell you the truth, since I've been home, we've all never had a conversation about what happened.
I
Never.
was gonna ask you that, dude, because I know that your sister was actually present.
See, I
So
see when you said that to me, I think my grandma and my aunt said that to me. I don't know. I've never sat and asked my sister was she there, what she seen, what she know. Like you saying that right now, every day I be wanting to ask her, what do you know? But I don't because I guess I don't want to get them up. I guess I haven't all these years because they were younger and I didn't want to
right,
get them upset talking about it or being in that space again. So I think back then led up till now that we've never had me and my sister never had a conversation of what she know, what she seen. Me and Jeremy never had a conversation about our feelings about they dad killing my mom. You know what I'm saying?
right,
I feel that it's different. Ashley and Jeremy are closer to each other than me. I look at it as they're in the same box. My box
right,
is in their box, but not all the way in their box. You know what I mean?
right.
Um, uh, I do
Do
hate they
you think
daddy.
that's because? Do you think that's because? Um, Not just because they have both the same parents, but they experience the same. Because I imagine there was some ire or some, you know, it was a lot of vitriol behind that situation because ultimately, like I said, when we found out what happened, the first initial news was, people get so he was involved with these dealers and they came and killed both of them. And we were outraged. We was like, man, you know, say what you want. Yeah, he had some faults, this, that, and the other, but they didn't deserve that. Well, we definitely know Kim didn't deserve that, but we like, man, whatever you think about him, they ain't had to do him like so. We was up in arms, and then when we get the ultimate story, it was just like it was so disturbing. So I imagine them being his kids, being the spitting image of him, maybe they bond also in the fact that they get that kind of you know what I mean from the situation. It could be as simple as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. I just know our relationship has changed since then. Um, is it getting better? No, because we still got a lot of stuff to address and talk about, but don't nobody want to talk. You know my brother. My brother's stubborn. I'm kind of stubborn. You know what I mean?
Right.
If nobody wants to talk, how can you get to the bottom of something?
I
You know,
remember you saying that
and if
last
nobody's gonna give
time
me
you
the
were
truth,
on.
what is there to talk about? I don't want to talk if I can't get the truth. Like I want the raw truth of like what especially talking to my sister with things like
Right.
that, questions that I might have, or questions that I might have with other folks who might know something I
Right.
still haven't, asked, stuff like that, or
So you do you think that it's in the future? Do you think there'll ever come a time where you'll be able to sit with your sister or sit with your brother or any of the because like you say there were other people that were maybe not in the immediate vicinity but they were there surrounding the whole incident. Do you think there'll ever be a day where you'll sit down and even if they don't give you exactly what you're looking for,
and I think
have
that's
a
it.
conversation?
I don't think they're gonna give me the truth,
Mm,
just the truth. You know what I mean? I think
right,
you saying my sister might be there. I don't know if she was or not. You know what I mean? I don't. She can give me some of the truth. She might give me, a little
right.
part of it. She might not give me everything that she's seen that night from detail to detail. You know what I mean?
Would
Like
you
that's
be okay? Would you be okay with?
I don't need
Would you
what
be okay with it possibly being that she's traumatized and maybe what you're looking for she can't even access? You know what I mean? It
I mean
could be something that's locked away.
I guess when you think about it, Angie, me not asking this long, you know, it ain't really gonna change how I feel about things. You know what I mean? I guess I want to talk to it to make everybody feel better. But, me pressing about what happened and stuff like that,
Right.
like it ain't doing no good. It ain't
Right.
giving me no space. You know what I mean? But just from the talk of people talking, I be wanting to know what y'all talking about.
Exactly.
I
And I
wasn't here
couldn't
to know
even
what the talk was.
imagine.
You
Right.
saying, oh, he was dealing with drugs and all this. Like I didn't hear that. I don't know what the talk was
Right.
at
And
all.
that's so crazy. I couldn't imagine. Yeah. I couldn't imagine it being, my mom and having all of these stories and never being able to have a conversation with anybody about it. It's got to be tough. But I do think, Brandon, whether or not you get details or you get exactly the truth, I think it's important that you have some conversation because all of these things are going to be things that are going to continue to affect you. They're going to be things that continue to affect the people around you, whether you realize it or not. You know what I mean? So, and that's why I thought about this situation when the talk about the stuff with Tevin happened, and I thought we were, um, I don't think everybody was viewing that through a gracious lens because whatever the situation is, um, our tragedy is not bigger than his tragedy. Our trauma is no more detrimental than his trauma. And so I see people not dealing with that trauma well and how it's affecting how they move. And I'm just like, I don't think people all look at the whole picture and stuff. And it's like, so somebody didn't react the way you felt like they should react. They got trauma they haven't even dealt with. This man ain't even got nobody. He can't even talk about what happened to his mama. And so he didn't react how you think he should have reacted in this situation. Like, I just don't think we're gracious as people to the things that other people experience. And
Hey,
so,
I like how you put that because even for myself, even everybody, you got to think about others, you know. And
Yeah.
you just saying that is going to put me in a position to think about others more and what they going through rather than it just being about me. And
Right.
that's in everyday relationships. You know what I mean? That's good for every day.
Absolutely. And then that's my thing, Brandon. I always say that we have to be more gracious in all things because one day we're going to need that same grace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One day it's going to be a situation where I need somebody to be gracious to me in my mistake or in my whatever the case may be. So I'm really big on that. What do you tell your kids, your 15? Oh no, you said 8. My bad. What do you tell your 8 kids about their grandmother?
Um, we I show them pictures and stuff like that, but I don't I don't too much have those memorable conversations with my kids in regards to my mom. You know what I'm saying? Uh, like my youngest son, Duty. He's 4. He asked me about a mom. Do you got a mom? And I told him my mom.
Right.
She's dead. She's not here no longer. I'm sorry. So it's just going through the pictures. But, even with my other kids, that's kind of been the scenario of things. You know what I mean? Hey, Dad, where's your mom? Me kind of explaining like that. But, I ain't never got all in depth of detail of
Right.
our relationships and stuff like that. It's more so how I grew up and the things we do and what I learned and how we worked and how we came about and just working hard is
Yeah.
more so.
I know for a fact too. Everybody worked at the Anderson household in some capacity, right down to the small children.
Everybody doing something.
Hey, everybody doing something. Phelan used to be over there all the time. They have him out in the berry field picking berries. I'm like, what is going on, man? What y'all got my son over
Oh, he said, hey, pick a blueberries.
Got my son in blue. Yeah, he worked too. So they definitely instill, and that's why I say, um, nobody's perfect. Obviously, uh, your mom wasn't perfect, but she was a dear, sweet individual. You know what I mean? With a big heart. And I can think of so many instances where, I was having a rough time and I talked to Pam about it. And, Pam and Kim was freaking frack. You know what I mean? Thelma and Louise. And so, if you told Pam something, you told Kim something.
Yeah.
And the next time I would see her, with her, the softest little voice, she would just drop something in my spirit, drop something simple for me, and I'd hold on to that. And a lot of times she didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? She didn't have to do that, and so I really appreciated her in the role she played, not just in my life and Phelan life too, because I was a rough little mom at that point, and I needed people to fill in for me. While I was finding
We
my
love
way.
failing to death. We stayed over there. Boy, that's my little brother.
Man, yeah, he part of the family. He part of the family. We used to make jokes and stuff about him growing up in the AFC. he working in one, but he grew up in one. He
Look,
grew
that's
up in
probably
the
why I'm
AFC.
halfway crazy because we've been in since third
It's,
grade, living
man,
around these folks
yes.
for real, and they shit probably rubbed off on some of us. You know what I mean? I can see that's how it's happening because we live with these crazy people all our life. That's why
Yes.
when I'm at work now, I don't be trying to have Duty around these folks. Duty, hey Ray, he know everybody, but no, he ain't finna
Yeah.
be. No, he ain't finna be
Because
getting
you
no.
you you feel right at home around. You're like, this ain't nothing.
they love me, baby. That's why I'm their favorite
Yeah.
person. Cause
They like it's something about him feel real familiar. Yeah, he got a little touch of y'all too.
right, they looking at my eyes to see if it's
It's like,
little
yeah,
things.
yeah. Look at his eyes. Something going on. I got the funniest story about because I used to hate. We go out to eat. This is what I say. They did their residents, patients, wherever. They treated them like family. I tell people all the time, if the Andersons was eating steak and shrimp, the residents was eating steak and
Right.
shrimp.
It was on
If
audit trip.
they was creased and cuffed and clean, just like the Anderson kids was creased. I mean, like they really did good by them. So like they went out to eat one day. I never wanted to go because I didn't want to eat with. Some of them would used to do some crazy stuff. I'm like, nah, I don't want to go. So I went this time. Me and Phelan. Phelan was a little kid, legit, probably about 6 months old. Like he was high chair little, and he was in a little high chair. And I don't know if you remember. Hopefully I don't know where he at, but you remember Ricky. He
Yeah.
didn't say his last name. Ricky, yeah, Ricky there. So,
Wait, have you seen Steven here?
huh?
Have you seen Steven here at Pam's place? Did you meet Steven? I'm
I
gonna send you a
don't
picture
know.
of Steven because
Yeah.
Steven and Ricky they almost
Oh
identical.
man. No,
They
I ain't
just
seen
like
him then. I ain't seen him then. So we out to eat and Ricky, he messing around up from the table and I'm just looking at my menu because I don't want to look around too much because, court I don't want to be saying everybody's name, but digging in their nose and doing stuff. So man, I hear Ricky talking to Phelan. He just a little baby. He in the high chair. Ricky then went over there. Hey there, little guy, and stuck his finger in his mouth. I said, Pam, you better get Ricky. Man, I'm going
with
crazy.
those lips. He had those big.
He just stuck it right in his mouth. Phelan was a pacifier, baby, too. So he gonna be so mad I told that story. But I'm sitting there.
Oh,
I wanted to kill Ricky. You know how, man. I was like, but that was so funny.
Ricky, that's hilarious. I forgot.
I never went out with him. I never went out to eat with them again after that beat. that was it for me. One thing though, if your mom was here today, what kind of advice do you think she would give you?
Shoot, if my mom was here today, she was been set me up. I would been good to go. You know what I mean? It would even not even the advice would be Brandon.
No. Back up. If
What?
she was here and you are right where you are today, what would her advice be?
Oh, what would her advice be?
Yeah.
Keep it moving. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't pay none of these people no attention. You great, and you gonna elevate. She. It's
Definitely.
never about changing. Probably slight. You need to change stuff because my mom was all about doing right.
Right.
She gonna change this, but other than that, keep doing what you're doing. Keep your drive. Keep your focus. You're doing good with your kids. I know she probably would have had the whole house full of kids if she was here right now. But I think
Yeah.
it would just be. I would be in a good space. I would be in a real good space. I think how she was about her kids, and she, with my dreams and my goals, she would have helped me get there. And I think my drive of how I'm getting there now would have been a little bit easier, with her. Even everything I do, missing a mom. I'm missing some stuff that I needed. You know what I
Right.
mean? In my bag going forward, it's a
Absolutely.
different type of whatever. But I know she'll be proud.
I was gonna say, would she be proud?
Yeah, she would. she'll be proud. She'll love the kids. She'll probably say something about these baby mamas I got and some of them. But other than that,
She
hey,
say something about your butt too. So let's just keep it funky now. She
yeah,
say something about you popping them off like you popping them off.
yeah. Because she only seen me pop one off, she would have been like, where all these baby? Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I probably would have just
But
had one chance. That'd have probably
she
been
be
it.
like, son, you been busy.
Yeah, it would have been no extra extra biddles.
You've been busy. No, I definitely think though. I know what you're saying about how your way would have been a lot easier. You know what I mean? It would have been a lot more
I had direction. I would have some direction. You know,
right.
uh,
You can't. It's because how old were you?
I was 20.
Yeah. I went to when I was at college. One of my good friends lost her mom, and we were 19. And this is, you know, that's the time where you really need your mom when you're, especially as a young woman. She said, "I'll never forget it." She said, "I'm 19 years old, Angie, and I don't have a mama." And I said, I don't even know what to do with that because there's so much that we need from our mom that you can't get nowhere else. You
Mhm.
just can't, you know? And so,
And
um,
I think I got, a lot of the tools, from her, especially now, me being an older man with what I needed to grow, like the simple things, how to take care of myself, doing dishes, how to cook for myself,
absolutely.
laundry, like all those
Hey B, you remember
necessities.
that time I came to that house and you was mopping that floor on your
On
hands
the
and
floor,
knees?
on my hands
I
and
said,
knees.
I said, B, what is you doing on the floor? He like, cuz I know my mom. If I don't do it right,
Ain't
she
no
gonna come
mop.
in and be
Well,
like,
yeah, ain't nothing happening. She would wake up out our sleep, and yeah, you finna get everything clean. So when it comes to the stuff a woman can do for me, I got that,
you can do
down
it
pat.
for
You better
yourself.
bring a little bit more extra, little mama, because I can cook, clean, laundry. You know what I mean? That's simple stuff. So she definitely
Yes.
gave me, those perks of, women.
Yeah. So Brandon, tell me this. When you've made your last lap around the sun, what do you want people to remember most or say about Brandon, brand new golden boy?
That he took care of his kids. He was a good father. Um, he was giving. He was a good friend. You know what I mean? Uh, hey, people gonna say what they want to say, and when people last laps around, you know what I mean. It can be
Yeah.
joyous. It can be all of that. Hey, just tell the truth about me. That's it. You know what I
Ah,
mean? That's
there it
it.
is.
Just tell the truth.
There it is right there. Just tell the truth about me.
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
Hey, and you know what? Then all you gotta do is live how you what you want your legacy to be. If they tell the truth about you,
That's it. It's gonna be what it is. And I'm installing that in my boys. They're gonna be great, and that's gonna be me.
that's gonna be it. Now, Bree, before you get out of here, let me just tell you this. I appreciate you coming through, being so candid with us and opening up a little bit. Like I said, hopefully that get people a little better understanding of who brand new is, who Brandon is, because you were Brandon before you were brand new. And so many of the things that happen to Brandon affect how brand new moves. And I think it's good to know the whole man. And so thank you for doing that today.
I
Telling people
appreciate you
all the
having
stuff
me.
all the time. You my nigga if you gets no bigger.
Yes,
Tell the
man.
people what you got going on.
Oh, right now I'm just working. You know what I mean? I'm a house manager at adult foster care, so my main focus is my clients and taking care of my people here. I'm a full-time father. Yeah, I throw my little bits on the side, but I don't even want to get into that because everything I throw, y'all want to call the police and do this and that.
Yeah.
So we gonna keep everything under the water. It might be in somebody else's name, it might not, but I got some stuff going on going forward, and it's gonna happen. And hey, whether you think you're gonna shut it down, I'm gonna come right back probably the next week or the week afterwards because I'm hard to get away from, and you're gonna see what I got going on. So appreciate everybody. Everybody act brand new.
Hey, y'all give it up. Give another round of applause for Mr. Brand New. Hey, listen. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that Brand New came through and chopped it up with us today. And one thing y'all know about Behind Bars, one thing y'all know about me, we here at Behind Bars, we don't do anything for the sake of doing it. We don't do anything to exploit anything. We don't do stuff just for clicks. Part of the reason that I really wanted to talk to Brand New is because I think there's some healing that needs to happen. And he one of us. I don't care what y'all say. He one of us. You know what I mean? And so whatever that takes, if, Behind Bars can facilitate that, then Behind Bars is always open to doing that. But just know, when we talk about stuff here, we talk about it from a safe space. And so whatever people have, whatever issue people have with what was said here today, I would encourage you to do exactly what Mr. Brand New said do. Holla at your girl. If you take issue with the conversation that was had here today, holla at Play Mom. And I'll give you a better understanding of what it is that we're trying to do. But one more time for Mr. Brand New. I thank y'all so much for popping in here today and joining the podcast that goes behind the bars of local and international artists, as well as discusses the culture in real time. Because as I always say, a life lived, it's a bar. We out.
No, these niggas cannot beat me. Don't know why they keep on trying. I'ma keep on grinding. My your boy gon' be on TV. We came all the way from nothing, turned it into something. No, these niggas cannot beat me. Don't know why they keep on trying. I'ma keep on grinding. My your boy gon' be on TV. We came all the way from nothing,